How's it going, everybody? It's your world champion here, and welcome back to the Naruto arc reviews, where I just kind of talk about the arcs that I'm rewatching in Naruto. We're in Naruto Shippuden, and we've actually just hit another filler arc. So this one is called Power. So, long story short, rough synopsis of this arc. Basically, they are Team 7, our Team Kakashi with led by Yamato. Which is that's always been really very weird to me that Team Kakashi doesn't really have Kakashi in it, does it? But anyways, so the power arc is basically Team Kakashi goes to this village that was attacked. Apparently, Kabuto's involved with it, and shenanigans happens, and there's a lot to go with like power with oneself and all that, and where one finds power. But we'll dive into that a little bit more. And I'll talk about the arc as a whole at the end as well, because this arc, it was all right. Like, the story was fine. I don't know. There were some things in this arc that were very iffy, but let's go ahead and talk about it right now. Here's some things I didn't like in this arc. So the first thing I want to talk about is Kabuto here. So Kabuto, he's in this arc, and this is before he gets like his new look of looking like Orochimaru's little baby, like baby Orochimaru basically. So what he's doing is he's trying to perfect the resurrection jutsu, the oh crap, why am I forgetting the name? The reanimation jutsu here. And he's using this power that is in this village to kind of help with that. Now here's my problem with it. It's not the fact that Kabuto is here. It's the fact that Kabuto shows part of his hand to the Konoha shinobi. So like basically when he confronts Naruto and Sakura and the other Leaf Shinobi, which we'll get into that in a little bit, when he confronts them, he uses Akatsuki members that he can summon. So he summons like Deidara, and he has Hidan now, which this also explains why Hidan wasn't part of the war arc, which I like. I like that as well. So again, but he also shows that he has the other Akatsuki members to Naruto's team. So he shows that he can summon Itachi and Nagato and Kakuzu, all of them. It's just kind of stupid, isn't it? Like, why would you just show them your hand right there? But that's one thing I just didn't like. It kind of took me out of them. Just like, Kabuto, why are you showing them this? Why are you showing everybody what your hand is? Yeah, so after that, okay. So when Team Kakashi gets assigned this mission, Naruto asks, why is it only those 4 that are going? And Tsunade clearly tells Naruto, hey, we're still working on rebuilding the village. We have other missions that other shinobi have to go on. We're kind of light-handed right now. We can't have everybody going. So that's fine and all. However, during all this, they send word that they need some backup. Obviously, because this is kind of an A or S ranked mission. They need backup, and backup arrives in the form of the rest of our main cast. Why couldn't you just send the main cast to begin with? Like, you say that you're so that you don't have a lot of ninja to go around. You're very light-handed. So why is it that when you need the reinforcements, oh, easy, done, go. The rest of the cast, go ahead, go. Why is that a thing? Like, why couldn't you just send the whole cast in the first place if that was an issue? Like, I didn't understand that. And again, that was one of those things that kind of really took it away out of me. Even though, like, we do get some good moments, we have some of the shinobi fighting off, like, the reanimated carcasses. We even see Rock Lee and Guy against Four-Tailed Naruto, which we'll get into here in a little bit. It makes for some good moments. Even Team Shikamaru's team, Shikacho, they actually get some revenge again on Hidan. So where we get those good moments, to me, if they had just sent the whole crew to begin with, it would have been fine. So that was just me. The next thing, so I kind of want to do some research on this, and I kind of wish I did before I did this video, but I want to know if Power was supposed to be a movie, because here's the thing. We have that movie trope where we have little kid with amazing powers, just coming out of nowhere. Like, so apparently this kid, her power, I guess, is like tied into this beast that can be summoned, which we see later on in this arc. But I guess her power is tied to that because at the end her hair changes to like black or something. So I'm not really, I'm not 100% sure, because I'm not gonna lie, they didn't really do a too good of a job explaining everything, and it just was kind of a rush and getting through everything. Like, this whole arc felt like a movie. Like, and I'll talk about it later on why it felt more like a movie, but this is one of those instances where it really felt like a movie. It was really weird because she just has powers. And they're not really clearly explained, because there's a couple points here where she tries to tell the evil entity inside of Naruto to get out, and they think that she's telling Naruto to get out, when in actuality she's telling the demon spirit inside of him to get out. And it's not just a nine-tailed fox, it's some other weird like snake-like thing that is inside of him that she wants to get out. So I don't know, it was just weird. They didn't clearly define her power and what it was and why it was tied to it and why she was tied to it. If there was an explanation, please let me know in the comments, because when I watched it, I didn't see any explanation for it. But next on my list, oh boy. So these two characters, Doku and I forgot what her name is. What's her name again? It's been a couple days since it doesn't matter. Doku and the hot bitch. So these are the two like adult characters. So they are taking care of these kids that were orphaned. Doku, who's the guy here, he is this like guardian of this basically it's a pedestal that controls the power that's in this lake. But he's a guardian of that. So, well, he's a former guardian of that. He kind of left and gained some weight and all that. But he has this quote-unquote sister. There's a reason I say quote-unquote. So this girl, she is basically a police officer. Long story short, she's a police officer. Here's their story, though. So he is upset with himself because when they were kids, they were, playing around like on the edge of a cliff, and she started to fall. He grabbed her, and he didn't have enough strength to pull her up, and he let go. Luckily, she survived, but she got this injury to her side to where now she can't have kids. But their relationship that they keep talking about is brother and sister. So I watched this in English, so I didn't really go back and listen to the Japanese dialogue with this, but they keep calling themselves brother and sister. Especially her. She keeps referring to him as brother. So in your mind, especially in America, you're just like, oh, well, they're just brother and sister. But there's also the thing where you can think of a friend as something like a brother or sister. But even then, that's just weird. But they do, at the end, because they both survive, they do both end up getting married. And, they don't have kids. They end up just taking care of the kids that they have been. But it's like this weird love story, but it's weird because they're using the term brother and sister, and this is something that like Japan has this weird thing about, like calling each other like brother and sister and all that, and we kind of have that here too. Like, did they have to call themselves brother and sister? It was a weird incest plot, and I didn't like it at all. I felt very, very awkward with it because like there's a moment where like they go in for like a kiss, and it's this very tender moment, but in the back of your mind you're just like, wait, they were calling each other brother and sister. And like they also have moments too where like they're holding hands, but then when everybody notices they're there, they stop. like it's awkward and taboo, which is it's so weird. I know I'm asking a lot for you guys in the comments because mainly because this is the first time. I should have started out with saying this. This is my first time seeing this arc. I've heard about it, but this is my first time seeing it. We're starting to get into the anime stuff that I haven't seen. So this, it was kind of weird. It was kind of awkward. I'm sitting there like, the Odin face right there. Like it was very awkward for me sitting there trying to enjoy this. But overall, it was still pretty good. And so the last thing that I want to say, the pseudo tailed beast mode that happened. So I'm on the fence with this. I put it in things that I didn't like because I'm more on the fence of something that I didn't like with it. Because here's the thing. So this arc takes place. I had to look this up too. This arc canonically is supposed to take place after the 5 Kage Summit and before when Naruto leaves for the Cloud Village. So that's when it's supposed to take place. So basically, this is before Naruto learns the Tailed Beast mode. So Naruto, in part of this, he unleashes part of the Nine-Tailed Fox's power, which is this weird blob that you're seeing on the screen right now. This part was weird, but I understood why they did it because they're trying to do the whole parallels of power, what gives you power, blah, 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 all that stuff. So, and it ends up getting to the point where the Nine-Tails does take over. And then it also brings back to the whole girl's power thing where, like, she ends up calming Naruto down. So he gets out of the Tailed Beast state, but goes into a pseudo Tailed Beast mode. So, like, it's this weird thing where, like, he's not in it, but he's kind of, like, flashing in it. So, if you remember from the Tournament of Power, the last little fight that was in there, the 3-on-1 Goku, Frieza, and Android 17 against Jiren. And if you remember, in part of that, Goku starts flashing Super Saiyan, trying to activate it, trying to be in that. That's kind of what this was. It was like, it's like you take base Naruto in it, and it's like doing this weird flash thing where it's like flashing like a bar of the Tailed Beast mode onto Naruto. It was really weird, and it was like the reason I say it's a pseudo Tailed Beast mode is because Naruto had the power that he could have in Tailed Beast mode. So it was very weird, but this is one of those things where I keep wondering, was this supposed to be a movie? Because movies do that. Like, again, another Dragon Ball example is the Lord Slug movie, where Goku had like this Super Saiyan form thing in that movie, where like it wasn't Super Saiyan, but it was like a pseudo Super Saiyan mode. But it was just weird because, again, like, the criteria to get the Tailed Beast mode is to have control over the Tailed Beast. So, I mean, in that way, you can kind of this is why I'm on the fence with, like, it's kind of a way to, like, introduce the power to him so he can feel that sensation again. But on the other hand, it's very weird because of what we know. And of course, like, Minato comes back to kind of reseal the beast and all that. It was just weird. So this kind of ends the part of things that I didn't like. Now, things I liked is actually going to be maybe a little shocking to how we're going to talk about it, but let's go ahead. Here's some things that I liked in this arc. So the first thing I want to talk about is the movie quality of this arc, because it is movie quality. Like, it's a huge different animation style. It's very simplistic as well. So, like, look at the art style from the Pain fight. You know what episode I'm talking about too. It's almost similar to that, like, with its color palette, but they actually don't do, like, these weird transitions that they did with that one. So with this, I want to say it's like a simple art style, but, like, it's not as harsh. It's more fluid. So, like, you can do a lot better body movements, people's interactions and their, like, emotions can be shown a lot more and a lot better. So the one thing I will say about the quality, though, is most of the characters do look good in this art style. I say most. The only one that I don't like is Kabuto. He looks very weird. And also, like, just to also note too, this so the whole time you're sitting here watching, you're just like, wait, when does Kabuto turn into that weird Orochimaru looking thing that we see him look like when he's with Toby? Well, that comes at the very end of this arc with a post-credit scene. He basically sheds his skin and he becomes the Kabuto that we met during Toby's time. And plus, the lighting in this last fight that they do is really, really good. Like, it's this bright red, and everyone just looks really good in it. And that's the thing about this arc. Like, it looks really good. And the sound design, too, in this arc is also really good because it's not a very loud arc. It's a very quiet and subdued arc, so you can take things in a lot better. Especially scenes with character scenes and all that. Now, I'm going to move that in to how slow paced this arc feels. So this arc is only like about 5 episodes long, 5 or 6, I think, but it takes its time with its story. Like, yeah, I probably miss things here and there. I will readily admit that. But when they have character moments, like when people are feeling down or they're feeling happy or not feeling good at all, like they take their time with it, and it's really great because like it actually sinks in. Like there was a part in this arc where like it's after the woman slaps the kid because she's like trying to push Naruto out and keeps saying get out, go away, get out. She slaps the kid. And I think it's the next episode we flash back to like that moment in that day where the kids are in their room kind of sulking and being sad about everything. And Doku and this woman are in their room and everything's just really quiet. So you're actually taking in the scene and the ambiance and just everything about what's going on is just kind of weighing in on you. And the soundtrack too, like I talked about the sound design a little bit, but the soundtrack is very minimal here as well. Like you don't have all this music going on all the time. You know, it's not like they do the music mainly during the fights and all that, but like moments like this, like with Sakura talking to this woman here, it's very quiet and it's down to earth and it makes you feel more connected to the story. Like when I was watching this arc, I didn't want to stop because I was actually kind of invested in it. Which brings me to another point. Naruto's the freaking man in this arc. Like he rises up to be the hero that he truly is. So a plot point in this arc is that Kabuto is able to make this Nine-Tails clone of Naruto. So Naruto has to end up fighting this Nine-Tails version of himself. So it's another one of those things. So since this takes place before he learns about the Nine-Tails mode, he has to fight himself again. So I know we had this in the Life on a Boat arc where he fought his clones. This is another way of kind of alluding to, you know, fighting your evil self and all that. Because for a moment, like when Naruto's fighting this Nine-Tails mode, he's in Sage mode. So he's putting the smackdown on this thing, like, very easily, too. That's unlike Naruto, because Naruto, like, he'll do, you know, Shadow-Clone Jutsu, try to beat the shit out of somebody and fail a lot. But no, he's, like, one-on-one in this thing, like, giving it some hands, man, like he's Mike Tyson or something. But the clone ends up, like, turning back into Naruto and just, like, yelling at him, being like, how can you do this, you know, power doesn't come from other people, blah, 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 blah. You know, that just reminding us of where Naruto gets his power from and all that. But like Naruto was giving some hands and he was spouting some shit. And that's the other thing, like there was some imagery in this arc dealing with Naruto that was sick. Like there's this moment where he is tied up by these snakes and like the Nine-Tails is overtaking him, and it's actually really cool to see. Naruto is doing a really good job. He's showing why he is a hero. And I'm just gonna get to my last point. I know I haven't really touched on the story as much because like it was alright. It was okay, but honestly, this was an emotional story. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into with the romance in this story. I don't know. It was just a really good story. I was invested for as much as I could be, but it did make me shed a little tear, you know, like a little bitch, like the little bitch that I am. But with that, like, I can connect so well with it. So yeah, for the final grade of this arc, I'm giving it a B. I thought this was a solid filler arc. I struggled to think that it's the best because I had seen screenshots of this before, so I was kind of excited. But it did kind of fall in some places with, you know, the overall like story of what's going on, you know, because again, like the basic story is there's this old man that wants to like there's a twist too with like this old man who wants power, like he was a former ninja versed in summoning jutsus, that's why Kabuto's there, all that stuff. I didn't even mention that because honestly, like, it's so they just kind of throw it in at the end, and it's kind of bad. That's kind of bad in that way, but like I'm giving it a B because it seems like the studio actually went an extra mile to do something and to make something better, to make something good and decent. So, and yeah, I was invested throughout. So I had a fun time with it. I feel like it should have been a movie, but whatever. I don't know what they did to change everything. So yeah, if you know, let me know down in the comments, and you know, let me know also in the comments, you know, what you thought of this arc. Some things I may have gotten wrong because again, like, this is my first time watching this arc, and I'm also recording this a couple of days after I watched it, so some things may have slipped through the cracks and all that. But yeah, so let me know down in the comments any things you want to say about the arc. Be sure to like the video if I entertained you in any way, shape, or form, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel because every single week I bring you arc reviews of any series that I'm rewatching or, you know, first time watching as well. So as always, people, I've been your world champion. Catch you guys in the next video. See ya.